What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Playthrough, and today we will be finalizing my playthrough of the new Mortal Kombat Trilogy, the new Mortal Kombat timeline with Mortal Kombat 11. So let me first start with saying that even before this playthrough of Mortal Kombat, I had been already playing Mortal Kombat 11 a lot, and I had already beaten it, and then it wasn't until after I had beaten Mortal Kombat 11 after it came out that I went back to Mortal Kombat 9 and played through the entire new series from 9, 10, or X, and 11. So with that being said, I kind of had a different perspective going from 11 back to 9 and playing through, as opposed to just starting with 9 and seeing how the series progressed, and that will come in handy in my ranking in the end when you see where I put that. And if you've been following along, you kind of already know how I feel about the other two games. So right now my ranking of the Mortal Kombat series is in first place, Mortal Kombat X, and in second place, Mortal Kombat 9. So, where am I going to put Mortal Kombat 11? I'm just going to start off by saying this. I love this game. I love a lot about this game. I do have gripes with it, but the customization in the game is great. The story mode is pretty damn good and tight. The story itself could be a little bit better, but we'll get to that. So anyway, let's get on with what the plot of the game actually is. Now before I get into the game, if you like learning about Mortal Kombat lore and story, I do have a channel called Mortal Kombat Temple, where I go over the entire history of the franchise's lore from the old timeline into the new timeline, as well as some other lore-based videos. So please check that out. And it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to that channel as well. There will be a link in the description, as well as a card that pops up there. So the plot of Mortal Kombat 11, as according to Wikipedia. Following Shinnok's defeat, Dark Raiden plans to protect Earthrealm by destroying all of its enemies and making an example of Shinnok, decapitating him. This latter act inspires Kronika, Shinnok's mother and the Keeper of Time, to rewrite history in order to erase Raiden's interference. 2 years later, a Special Forces strike team led by Sonya Blade, Cassie Cage, and Jackie Briggs attack the Netherrealm, with Raiden providing a diversion to aid the team. The team succeeds in destroying the Netherrealm castle, though at the cost of Sonya's life. Kronika creates an allegiance with the Revenants Liu Kang and Kitana, now rulers of the Netherrealm, immediately afterwards. Meanwhile, Kotal Kahn, the current Emperor of Outworld, attempts to execute Shao Kahn loyalist Collector, but is interrupted by a time storm that brings Shao Kahn, Scarlet, Baraka, and younger versions of Kano, Erron Black, Jade, Raiden, Kitana, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Jax, Scorpion, Cabal, and Kung Lao from an alternate timeline and erases Dark Raiden from existence. A battle erupts in Kotal's Coliseum until D'Vorah transports Baraka, Scarlet, Shao Kahn, Black, and Kano to her hive, recruiting them into Kronika's fold. Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Raiden appear at the Earthrealm Special Forces HQ after forging an alliance with Kotal Kahn, while Jade and Kitana aid Kotal in protecting Outworld from Kronika's forces. Liu Kang and Kung Lao investigate the Wuxi Academy and encounter Kronika's henchman, Garrus. The subsequent battle ends with Garrus using his chronokinetic powers, I guess that means time bending, to escape with powerful energy capsules containing Earthrealm's life force, the Jinsei. The Special Forces learn that Sector, backed by Noob Saibot and Cyberized Frost, is building a cyborg army for Kronika. Sub-Zero and Hanzo Hasashi are sent to the factory to stop them. With Cyrex's aid, they shut down the Cyber Lin Kuei, forcing Garrus and both versions of Kano to revive Sector and rebuild the cyber army themselves. Raiden tries to consult with the Elder Gods. They refuse to help, as they usually do, but Cetrion gives him a clue to defeat Kronika. During a later attempt, Raiden discovers the Elder Gods were killed, and that Cetrion betrayed them to serve her mother, Kronika. Kotal and Jade go to a Tarkatan camp in order to turn them away from Shao Kahn, but Kotal's hatred towards the Tarkatans causes Jade to battle him before Shao Kahn appears to capture him. The Special Forces base is destroyed by the Black Dragon and the Cyber Lin Kuei, with the young Johnny and Sonya captured in the process, the elder Johnny wounded, and Sector killed. Due to the destruction of Sub-Zero's Lin Kuei Temple, Wuxi Academy's Sky Temple, and the Special Forces base, the Shirai Ryu Fire Garden is the only safe haven left to Earthrealm heroes. Cassie leads a strike team to save her parents, while Sonya kills the younger version of Kano to erase his present self from existence. Meanwhile, Kitana, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao battle Baraka in order to secure an alliance between him and Shiva. With their aid, Kitana successfully defeats and blinds Shao Kahn, uniting the Outworld factions and inheriting the throne from Kotal. Raiden sends Jax and Jackie to get the Crown of Souls from Shang Tsung's now-abandoned island, but the pair are thwarted by Cetrion and present-day Jax, who had been deceived by Kronika. Hasashi is tasked with getting Charon, the ferryman of Netherrealm souls, to join their side so they can travel to Kronika's fortress. Hasashi fights his younger self and persuaded him to join his side, only to be mortally wounded by D'Vorah. Scorpion drives her away and returns to the Fire Garden to honor Hasashi's dying wish. However, an enraged Raiden attacks him on sight, resorting to using Shinnok's amulet. Liu Kang intervenes, causing Raiden to see that they have fought in multiple timelines, and realize Kronika orchestrated them all because their combined strength is the only thing that can stop her. Anticipating this, Kronika kidnaps Liu Kang to weaken the heroes. With Charon recruited, a joint Earthrealm Outworld army assaults Kronika's keep. Darius is dropped into the bottomless sea of blood. Frost is shut down, disabling the Cyberling Quay, and the older Jax defects to the hero's side. Once he has absorbed his past self's soul, Kronika sends Revenant Liu Kang to attack Raiden. After defeating him, Raiden merges himself with past Liu Kang to become Fire God Liu Kang. Acquiring the memories and knowledge of Kronika's plan from his Revenant self in the process, the heroes breach the keep only for Kronika to turn back time to its beginning. Fire God Liu Kang, however, proves immune due to his godlike status, and subsequently defeats the remaining Revenants and Cetrion before battling Kronika. Depending on the outcome of the battle, the story ends in 3 different ways. Non-canonically, if Liu Kang is defeated by Kronika, she kills him and announces the beginning of the new era. If Liu Kang successfully defeats Kronika but loses one round to her, he is unable to bring Katana back due to Kronika's reverting history too far. Instead, a now mortal Raiden offers to become Liu Kang's advisor for as long as his lifetime lasts. This is the canon ending that sets the stage for the expansion, Aftermath. If Liu Kang successfully defeats Kronika in 2 straight rounds without losing once, he manages to reunite with Katana, and both vow to create a new and better timeline while undoing Kronika's mistakes. Though they realize that mortals will still make their own choices and new evils will eventually arise, they resolve to face whatever happens together. Now, there is more story to that with Mortal Kombat Aftermath, the DLC, but I'm only reviewing the 3 games and the 3 core games for this full playthrough. I have beat Aftermath and I do enjoy it, but this will solely be focusing on Mortal Kombat 11. So the storyline. Now, the storyline is not a bad story. The writing isn't bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It kind of feels like a cop-out because it brings the 3 games to an end and it wipes everything clean. And, you know, the whole time displacement is a way to bring back characters that were dead into the new timeline. So you have, you know, Baraka had died in Mortal Kombat X, he's back. And it's also a good way to bring back characters that are now Revenants. You know, you bring back their younger self when they weren't Revenants, so you can bring them back into the fold as well. I do like how this game's roster has almost all of the Revenants, minus Striker and Smoke, I think, are the only 2 Revenants that are not playable in the game, at least at the time of this recording. We get Nightwolf, we get Sindel with downloadable content, so most of the Revenants are back, and you can see them in Revenant form too, which I enjoyed that. Overall, the direction of the story mode, though, is fantastic. Just how cinematic it is, the experience playing it. I think the direction of this game is probably the best of the 3 story modes, and the voice acting is really good too, except for Ronda Rousey. She is horrible as Sonya.
What the hell are you talking about?
Her voice acting, I mean, they really just got her for the name, because her voice acting just stands out as just totally cringeworthy and just really, really bad. Which is a shame, because Sonya in Mortal Kombat X was a lot better than this Sonya. And there are some plot holes, and probably the most plot holes of the 3 stories in this game. Like, for example, how come some characters, when their past selves feel pain, their future selves feel it as well? But then when there's characters like, you know, Kung Lao fighting his Revenant self, or Scorpion fighting his past self, their future selves don't feel the pain. So it's kind of like the time travel rules only kind of apply when it benefits the story, which is kind of stupid when you really think about it. There are other storyline plot holes too. For example, Cabal has his speed, but we see in Mortal Kombat 9 that he gets his super speed after being burned and being revived. So how can a younger Cabal that before he was burned have the super speed? It doesn't make sense. It's just a big plot hole there, and there's really no way to explain it, and they never really touch upon it. That's one thing that kind of bothers me about Mortal Kombat games in the past, is they do have these big plot holes. I feel like they've been trying with the new trilogy to kind of avoid them, but they're still happening. And some characters are in the game for no reason. Erron Black, who was introduced in Mortal Kombat X, had the potential of becoming a great lore-wise character, and he really provides absolutely nothing to the story. I mean, yes, there are some parts in the story where you have to fight him, but he doesn't do anything detrimental to the story, and you could have just filled him in with a better, more fan-favorite character. Same thing goes for Cabal, and same thing kind of goes for Frost. Yes, she controls the whole Lin Kuei army, they're all connected to her. She has maybe 2 lines of dialogue, and she was this kind of big reveal character that you unlock halfway through, and she just doesn't provide anything towards the story. So I would have liked to see that happen a little bit more. I'm not too happy on the whole time travel story. As I said before, it's kind of a cop-out. They basically crafted this story to just bring one big ending to the new trilogy, and that's why it was made. And although I have gripes here and there, I can accept that. The gameplay in this game, probably the most smooth and most fluid combat of the trilogy. And if you don't believe me, then play Mortal Kombat 11 for an hour, and then go back and play Mortal Kombat 9 for an hour, and tell me which gameplay is more fluid. Because when I booted up MK9 to start this playthrough, my first thought was, wow, these controls are really clunky, and this is not how I remembered this game. Also, there's a ton of customization. There's a ton of, I like the addition of the character towers in the Towers of Time, because now after you've beaten the game, after you've beaten the classic towers and gotten like the classic endings, you can go and practice in the character towers, unlock more unlockables for your character, and then that practice can be transferred over for when you're ready to maybe fight online, or maybe you just want to do more towers. So I like the character towers as a plus. The Towers of Time in general, it's kind of the same from what NetherRealm took from the multiverse in Injustice 2, and it works really well here. I've been playing the game for over a year, on and off, and I still find myself going into Towers of Time and doing more towers. The online mode, I think it's better than Mortal Kombat X. It's kind of a toss-up between Mortal Kombat X actually, but I think it's a lot more easier to navigate. And now that they've adapted seasons, much like a lot of other online games have adapted, I think that flows a lot better with Mortal Kombat, and the unlockables too. I mean, there's no unlockable system to kind of keep you going and keep you playing with MKX. There is, but there really isn't. There is, but there's no customization. And speaking of customization, the customization in this game is awesome. I love building my loadouts. I wish they gave us more than 5 loadouts though, but that's just me being picky. But that's really the grind, and if you're someone that likes the grind, I can go half and half, but that's really what's gonna keep you playing. Unlock more of these skins and these gear for these characters so that you can customize them and make them your own. And it looks like this is where Mortal Kombat's gonna go from here on up, and that's fantastic. I do wish they kind of brought back more of the older classic costumes and not have them just as like downloadable content. I mean, I bought them anyway because I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I guess my dream would be to have every one of their skins from past games as a skin that you can select. I don't understand why they don't do that, because I feel like fans would love that. But I digress. And the Krypt. How much fun is it to explore Shang Tsung's island? I mean, come on, we've seen it a million times in past video games, but we've never been able to explore the island on our own. And I love how the Krypt has developed now into this like puzzle, kind of easy, kind of puzzle unlockable side game. Keep that content coming. That's something that kept me coming back to this game as well. So now for my rankings, if you couldn't tell already, I fucking love this game, and it's gonna go at my #1 spot. I think there are strengths and weaknesses for all three. For me, I found myself playing Mortal Kombat 11 much more than I played 9 and X. I find myself still playing it, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna stop anytime soon, you know, well over a year and a half later. The new ranking of the new Mortal Kombat Trilogy goes as follows: Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 9. I will be releasing another video that will have 10 different awards. So I'll go into like which game has the best story, which game has the best roster, the best bosses, the best finishing moves. And that will be in my next video, so make sure you check that one out. Again, if you like Mortal Kombat lore and story, head on over to my other channel, MK Temple. Subscribe there for more Mortal Kombat lore videos. And if you like what you saw here and you want to see me play through other game franchises, then please like, favorite, subscribe to my channel, where I will play through entire game franchises, review each game as I play along, and then at the end, rank them all in what I find the most definitive order for the games. You can also follow me along on Twitch and watch as I play through the games in real time, and please feel free to leave comments below on what you think your definitive ranking of the new Mortal Kombat Trilogy is, or the franchise overall. And also, please leave a comment on what you think I should play through next. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next time.